What is going on? I'm Zedmot. We're going to do some warships. I got to tell you, my win-loss rate not going super duper well since moving to 6 engine rooms. I am just way too impatient. Like, way super impatient. But as you can see right here, times don't have to be all that good. 1 minute 22 seconds is not something I'm proud of, but a win is a win. So what we are going to do, we are going to do some attacks and hopefully not have to park because we're falling out of the diamond tier. I've already fallen out of 22. Let's get back in, get some hits going, and hopefully move on up, or at least stay the same and keep claiming some stuff. Before we get into that, quickly, teaser. Here is my tech tree. Have not maxed Bullit yet, not quite sure why, because I went back and got Barrage, maxed that. I also have maxed Artillery. Kind of tempted to go get Rocket Choppas just to give us some more attack options. I went and got the Microwaver because everyone was hitting me with all heavy Choppa. Hopefully that slows them down a little teeny tiny bit. Otherwise, chances of getting Super Warriors not happening this season. Not a lot of time left. 4 days, 13 hours. Let's get into some attacks. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to hit me up. Otherwise, here we go. Okay, forgot to click record as I hit attack. Now, what I've been doing completely and utterly wrong is dropping my troops way too early, also dropping my heavy choppas way too early. So what we are going to do is we are going to ignore that engine room on the right-hand side. We are just going to drop right about like this, and then I'm just going to hang out, dropping Bullit, and then dropping heavy choppas right afterwards. I have done that way too many times. We need Bullit to get there first. But, of course, I make the same mistake yet again because Bullit hits the shock mine. And now we're just going to cruise on over here. And we are going to hang out for a second. I have been rushing these attacks way too much. Like, I can't even stress how much I have been rushing them way too much. Now we are just going to hang out. We're going to let all of our dudes clear all of these random buildings. We're going to get rid of that rocket launcher. We're going to get rid of the machine gun. We are going to get rid of all sorts of stuff. We are now farming gunboat energy. And then we're going to flare, you know what? Actually, we can flare this engine room right here. And what that's going to do is that's going to get all of our heavy choppas heading on over and around. We're going to shock that Doom Cannon. Bullit's going to get moving. And then we're going to drop all of our stuff on this left-hand shore. Only then are we going to drop it, because otherwise we are going to have an absolute and utter nightmare on our hands. Look how wonderfully our Seekers are going to path at this point. We're going to get all of our troops way over here. Bullit hopefully is going to catch up at some point as we're losing. We've lost at least one heavy chopper at this point. Don't need to worry about anything that's happening otherwise. And now we are going to send all of our troops way back over here because everything has been taken care of. Look how wonderfully this is going. Like, this is what happens when you don't rush your attacks. I don't know why, but with Seekers, I feel like I have to get there as soon as I possibly can, and that goes incredibly poorly. And at this point, we can just start throwing barrages at this front engine room because all of our Seekers are going to head back there and get all of the engine room, and then we should have a bunch of GBE left over as our troops start clearing other stuff. And now I'm going to throw a barrage there and an artillery there, and then another artillery there, and just hope that that is enough damage. It's going to be so incredibly close. We just need 2 more buildings to explode. I don't necessarily recommend doing this. I know a bunch of people have been throwing their artillery and barrages on that engine room way early, but look at that. There we go, picking up what I assume is a win by simply not rushing. Like, I can't even stress that enough. With Seekers, all of my losses were because I was rushing way too much, and you end up being against people who are using bombardiers and heavy choppers, and it takes them a long time to clear your base, so rushing is just silly and ridiculous. But as a Seeker player, rush is like ingrained in your psyche, so I just have to tell myself to relax, and then suddenly we pick up a win against Raf Dog. So there is attack number 1. Let's get going back in, do attack number 2. I found that 4 boats is better because they stay alive more and clear a few more mines and all that sort of jazz. I've also done like 5, 6 boats of heavy choppas, all depending on the base. Now, this base, we could clear out that middle one's going to pose a problem simply because it's going to be closer than this one. I think either that or our troops are going to go right past it. So just need to figure out what our pathing strategy is going to be. I don't have all the answers, unfortunately, but we're going to do our darndest to get the heck over there. Now, looking at this, nothing should cause all that many problems for our heavy choppers. We just need to get the heck over here, throw that taunt out there, and then grind away at all of these buildings in this far left-hand corner. Just chilling out for a second. Shock launchers don't range us. Doom cannons don't range us. Heavies are getting out front, so we don't really care about anything at this point. Let's send our troops over there. Get rid of that cannon because it's going to be doing the most damage to our troops at this point, and then we'll just kind of hang out for a second. Like, it's that simple. I just find that when I don't hang out for a second, things go very, very, very poorly. And so now that that's happening, we're going to get our Seekers moving forward. I'm going to throw one smoke about there. We're going to throw some critters over here, which are going to help not only clear the mines, but distract that Doom cannon. And then just cruising along, making sure we get all of our troops getting rid of that shock launcher. And then we're going to head somewhere back in here, hoping to get near that, what's that thing called again, an engine room one more time, hoping that our Seeker, actually our Seekers are going where I was kind of hoping they would. This is going to be beneficial for sure. Bullit's going to taunt that stuff as all of our Seekers cruise right on by. Didn't even need to throw that shock. The taunt did all of the good stuff for us. And now we're going to throw one more taunt and then head back over into here because all of that stuff is going to be taunted by the Seekers. You know what? Don't even need to do that. We're just going to head over into here because we've already gotten rid of that shock launcher. Just cruising through this base utterly and completely. At this point, it's back to throwing the barrages out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Definitely going to need at least one more barrage. Now, I have done the math. I think it's 96 gunboat energy to get that final engine room down. Should be very, very close, if not perfect right about now. Look at that. Down goes, and 158. Quick time. Not quick enough, though. It looks like we lost. I'm kind of okay with that, though, because slowly and surely getting better. So, with Seekers, oh, look at that, pull out the win. Attack number 2, also a win. Things are starting to look up, as you see right here. Boom, boom, boom. Heading in the right direction, all because I finally took a breath. Now, one thing to note, I have gone like this a couple times. Seekers and tanks and mechs all being the same color makes them a little bit problematic. I know that's totally stupid, but do make sure you've got Seekers loaded. Kind of like when someone does an operation attack and realizes they have tank medic loaded, not Zookas like they thought. Anyways, that is attack number 2. We will keep moving on forwards. One good thing to note, getting matches super duper quickly right now. So as soon as you start to fall down a level or so, you start to get matches way, way easier. Gonna stick to the same sort of thing, like getting Bullit out front, dropping some heavy choppas in a little bit. I've rushed this way too much, so I'm gonna wait 5, 6, 10 seconds, and then we're gonna bring our heavy choppas in. That way Bullit can get in here and taunt all of this stuff. Our heavy choppas will quickly catch up because they are quick troops. And then we are going to leave that engine room up. That is number one thing that I want to make sure I stress is don't take the engine room down, because if you take the engine room down, your troops are not going to path where you want them to go exactly. So by leaving it up, we're actually doing ourselves a bit of a favor. And then once they start to get in the general vicinity of where we want them to go, we can throw that shock out there a little bit early, simply because Bullit is heading off where we want him to be, slowly but surely. Now, next up, we are going to go and get rid of that shock launcher right there. We've got all sorts of heavies giving us some distraction. Also, our troops managed to get rid of that what's that thing called, machine gun in there, which is going to be super duper helpful as well, because that means that our Seekers are sneaking on through all of this stuff without us having to worry all that heck of a lot. Now, I'm going to send our troops back in here somewhere, and if that flare actually worked, I'm amazed by that. So now at this point, we are cruising. Like, these attacks are starting to go somewhat well, and it's all thanks to those flares coming in, actually making some good attacks happen, and then all of our stuff is going to get taunted. Bullit's going to get all of the troops back in there. Our Seekers are going to start crushing these engine rooms very, very quickly. And if that, you know what? I just noticed that we can just start barding out engine rooms because all of our troops are doing all of the things. So just need that final engine room to go down. And Bob is your uncle right about now. Just need to get that barrage on that back corner. 153. Definitely should have been faster. I thought there was an engine room up front. Totally screwed that up. Probably lost to Commander Jesse as a result. See, that 3 seconds, all I had to do was throw the artillery faster and we would have guaranteed the win. So taking note of where the heck engine rooms would have made all the difference in the world. Win streak snapped. I'm kind of okay with that, simply because attacks starting to get better. I'm at least doing decently. Win streak snapped, but we are solidly into diamond, so at least the pressure is off a little bit there. One last battle before we call it a day. I know I'm incredibly late on this video, but it just seems like Boom Beach is taking a bit of a backseat as far as time goes, most definitely. So we need to get the heck back there. How we can do this, I'm not entirely sure. I want to see, like, that rocket launcher, that mortar even, there's a space back there where we can drop some critters on that, but all of our Seekers are going to go right anyway, so there's not much point worrying about that. Just need to figure out, I think flaring that flamethrower right there is going to be the answer of all answers shortly. We're going to get, you know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different. 1, 2, and a barrage, and hopefully that's going to get rid of that shock launcher. Getting the right GBE numbers out, not my strong suit whatsoever. But we're going to go something like this. We're going to drop all of our heavy choppas in like this. Going to get a taunt out, and then just clear some of this stuff slowly but surely. My fear was if I went too far, I was going to end up having all of our stuff getting absolutely murdered by that Doom Cannon and by that flamethrower. So wanted to send our troops a little bit farther along. I'm also going to throw an artillery right there, simply because otherwise bad stuff is going to start happening. Now, this is where I'm not entirely sure what the heck's going to happen with our troops. Where our Seekers are going to go, I could not tell you, and that's a little, see that? We had this awkward, super awkward split, and anytime your troops split, especially with Seekers, bad stuff starts to happen. So far, we're not doing too badly, but my goodness, is this ever going to be a problem in about a second or two? So at this point, it's all about frantic makeup mode. We are down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 Seekers, but we're still cruising, and we are not cruising super duper well, but we are at least cruising a little bit. So just need to get rid of that mortar, and now we can come over in here, drop some critters in behind just in case our Seekers all die. Don't think that's going to be the case. And then finally making the Hail Mary run for this final engine room, throwing barrages out, throwing artilleries out, hoping that our flare lasts long enough, and we are again going to be in the neighborhood of 2 minutes. So starting to progress. My times were like 120. I missed a whole bunch of engine rooms. Our opponent has already retreated, and we are going to end the video on a win. So 3 wins in 4 battles. Pretty darn happy with that. Slowly making the climb back up to tier 22 and hopefully beyond. I was very afraid I was going to fall out of diamond. I had lost like 7 battles in a row, took a breath, started going slower. The microwaver, I believe, is making a bit of a difference. every single person that attacked me before that was using all heavy choppers, and now still all heavy choppers. Like, this whole mass influx of 8 heavy choppers. Hopefully, yeah, we're starting to get a bit of damage from that microwaver, which is starting to slow them down a little bit, but overall, just getting absolutely pummeled. And it's not a super fun style of attack. I will not be using all heavy choppers. I don't enjoy it all that much, but you can see it's incredibly useful. So if you're struggling, if you're failing, if your base is standing up on its own, then maybe heavy choppers is for you, but that is not the choice for me at this juncture anyways. I'm not going to say I'm never going to use them, but I'm hoping not to use them. Anyways, that is all for me today. Hopefully talk to you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday, probably coming to you with War Factory, maybe Warships as well. Also need to update my creator boost. Had to cut part of the video out there because I accidentally almost bought a whole bunch of diamonds and my email address popped up. But otherwise, as always, keep booming those beaches, and if you're broing those stars or clashing those clans, do consider throwing Zedmot in your box as well. Otherwise, I shall talk to you soon. Thanks for coming in. I'm Zedmot. Peace!